My name is Alison Beaumont, and I didn't grow up in the Okanagan. I grew up in the UK and moved here in 2008. The Okanagan is such a rich destination for being outside, being in the natural environment. And because my work is so focused on climate and climate action, it's just been such a really great place to be able to connect with the land and also create here as well.
My name is Shauna Oddleifson, and I did grow up in the Okanagan, and I did my fine arts degree here at UBC Okanagan. And you know, the Okanagan, it has influenced my work over the last number of years in using the natural environment that's around me. That's something that I use in drawings and different work that I'm making. You know, also some interest in climate change and how we interact with our local environment and what that looks like, how people moving into this area have kind of changed how the environment operates, has been something that's influenced my work over the number of years.
My name is Joanne Gervais, and I grew up here in the Okanagan and witnessed firsthand a lot of the changes that have happened here over time, from an orchard tourism destination to a lot more climate impact in terms of smoke. But I still enjoy being outside in nature and spending a lot of time on the water. And that has impacted my artistic practice as well as the people here in the Okanagan.
So the three of us had worked on a project a few years ago that did utilize augmented reality, and afterwards we wanted to work on another project together, not really knowing where that would go. So we just started brainstorming and came up with this idea of the environment. Each of us work with those kinds of themes in our work, with how we interact with the local environment. So we just started talking about different ideas and started sharing drawings and sharing photographs, and then after about a year, we came up with the project that we did, each of us, adding all kinds of different mediums to the project and creating this animation that we see at the art gallery.
As part of that brainstorming process and creation process, we made some felted items together. So all of the flowers and the rocks and the animals, all of those things, they were kind of made by us kind of collectively, but as Shauna said, like just all of the different elements that we kind of brought together. With the previous project that we worked on, I was focused on the sound, and again in this project that's something that I've contributed to as well, is thinking about the sound that goes with the animation as well. And I think having the visuals and the sound together really adds to the impactful nature of the animation. And I think in terms of the having an artwork that is able to speak for itself without the augmented reality is a really great element to this work. But when you are able to access it through the augmented reality, it really does show that life cycle of the impact of the fires and the regrowth, and and the animation that Joanne put together for that is really great.
Using AR to show video or animation in this case allows it to be multi-visual. Because we don't need a screen and we don't need a projection, AR allows everybody to see it for themselves in their own device, which is kind of unique and nice that way.
my general art practice brings in lots of different aspects from photography, video, sound, poetry, and in this work, collaborating with Shauna and Joanne, I brought some of my experience working with sound, but also some of the photographs and video, and even some felting too, which is definitely not a medium that I use on a regular basis, but I think through the collaboration and through the work with Joanne and Shauna, like it's really neat to try new things that are unexpected and bring that into the work as well. But I think one of the key things about all of our practices is that we do have that theme of climate awareness, climate wanting to speak about action, and really just making sure that folks know and see artwork reflected in their experiences as well.
I primarily work in drawing and printmaking, but I also do a lot of sewing and other kinds of sort of crafting things. So a fair amount of the drawings that are in the project are ones that I did. We got together, like Alison was saying, and did some felted pieces and had some sewing pieces that we had sewed from a different project. And then we just took them all and scanned everything to incorporate them together to create the image that you see, and then later the animation. And part of that was, seeing what we had and being like, oh, we need this drawn. So Shauna, quick, draw a bird and, do this, or draw these animal bones, or, these flowers, we need kinds of things like that. So we really worked in collaboration to decide what we needed to create the final piece.
I work primarily in digital media, so digital drawing and video and photography as well, and animation. So it was really fun to take all of these different elements, including the felting and crocheting and pencil drawings and things like that, and put them all in a piece and make different parts of those things move around. And it was really fun to bring all of the various things that we make together in this work. I think it's really neat to see people look at the work and the multi-layers of the work. There's so many different elements in there. It's not just photos or drawings. There's like the crocheted and felted pieces, and then to also have the opportunity to look at it through their phone and watch the movement of the animation. I think that's very interesting. I think it seems very light and whimsical at first, and then towards the end it's a bit dark and it catches people off guard.
As Joanne said, like even just looking at the image, it's quite whimsical. It's got all of those different elements, but then using the augmented reality, it really allows people to just have that another viewpoint and then see more of a narrative that is told with it. And also with the augmented reality app, they can really get in close to the artwork.
Oh, yeah.
And really see quite close up what is happening with each of the different elements that Joanne animated in there. And as Joanne said, like the unexpected kind of finish of that, like that, it looks quite whimsical. It's got the all of the different natural elements that are in there, but really the story that we were quite keen to tell in this work, and also in previous works as well, is that cycle happens, and that we are facing this what seems like almost an annual process of smoke and fires and evacuations and all of those different things as well. So within the context of the exhibition, I think thinking about the other works that are in there, I think it speaks really well with Wanderlock's work, like that there's some elements that kind of speak across there as well. But yeah, like it's I think the augmented reality really allows folks to experience the work in a deeper way. And I think the sound as well is important, especially as you get to the points where there is fire and there is the different elements that are interacting with each other within the animation.
You had a good point. Like, you can really zoom in and just follow one thing throughout, which is, yeah.
I think, one of the things that's interesting too is, because it looks like this image that's like really nice and fun, and isn't it cute? And then when you actually look at some of the pieces, you see these, this burnt wood, and then seeing the animation. I think that we try not to be like so on the nose with it. It's a little bit subversive, and I think that then when people see the animated part, then it starts them thinking like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. Now everything's lighting on fire, and then it comes back to life again. And I think that, our hope is that is a little bit of a lasting piece that, that people have, like thinking about not just our work, but, what happens in the environment and what we live around, which, is something that we work towards.
Alison had a good point too, that it really touches on, has elements of all the other work in that piece, all the other work in Ebb and Flow. There's a little bit in that piece, like we didn't realize that was going to be the case, but yeah.
Being part of this community for so many years as I have been, I've been part of Arts Co for a long time, and I think it's a really great organization that helps bring artists together, that introduces artists to other artists. Bringing these projects like this exhibition, together is really important. Showcasing, what's happening, what's being created in our local community, I think is really important. Learning from each other, I think that that's a really great role that Arts Co, has in the community, and being part of that is also really important. As an artist, as part of, I feel as part of my art practice, being able to have these kind of community connections is something that I think is really important.
Building off what you said, Shauna, I would say that when I think about Arts Co, I think about art that is kind of discovered, or like it's present within the community. It's not necessarily that it's always in a gallery. I mean, Ebb and Flow is in a gallery, but there are other places and spaces that Arts Co projects and work can be accessed by the general public. And I think in particular with the Ebb and Flow, I think having it in the community gallery space makes it just that, they have classes in there, it's open, it's the free accessible portion of the gallery. So it's important to have free and accessible access to art that helps you to question your environment, helps you to question the things that are happening in the world, and I think that Arts Co helps to support that.
I think community is a big part of Arts Co, and it's really important to have these. We have a lot of amazing creators in the Okanagan, artists of all types, but a hub like Arts Co provides brings people together. It's like a vector point that we can meet and discuss things, and as you said, it's not just in a gallery. Arts Co has other places where art is shown, which is really important.
Yeah, I think that support of artists that live in this community is really important, and we also as a community and as artists want to see art coming from other places, which is also good, but we need what's happening here. As Joanne said, there's lots of artists and creators living in the community, and having that support is something that I think Arts Co does really well.